Okay, so hi Karen, thanks for joining us. I wondered if you could just jump on and just tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, why you do what you do, and how you got to doing what you do, because I know it's pretty great.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for having me. So my name's Karen Ramsay Smith. My whole life is about coaching and having a mindful life. So I am a coach. I'm a transformational coach, I suppose, if you want to give me a label. And I'm a mindfulness teacher. So I basically combine the skill of mindfulness and coaching to help people to become more centered, grounded, calm, balanced. That's kind of what I'm all about. And to use from that place, then to kind of live from a place of being more intuitive and leading their lives and work from that place, as opposed to being in our mind. So
Awesome.
that's kind of what I do.
Awesome. So have you always done this, or is this kind of developed over time, or just tell us a little bit about your
So
journey?
yeah, so for 25 years I was in marketing and communications, and really was drawn to that, I suppose, because I'm quite a creative person, and I used to love art and design and things like that. And I guess when I was a child, I was very creative. I was very much into being as opposed to doing. And obviously, got caught up in life and, the doing part of life. And ended up sort of climbing the corporate ladder, worked for the public sector for a while and corporate sector. Ended up climbing the ladder and became a deputy director of marketing. I've led teams. I've worked in teams. I've project managed. I've done all sorts of different jobs. I've done film, video editing, media. I've done all sorts of things, PR. But I basically got to a point in my life where I realised that sort of being on this hamster wheel was not working for me personally, and unfortunately for me, it culminated in a bit of an emotional breakdown from having lots of different pressures and stresses in my life, both personal and professional. And so I took some time away from my work, and I literally fell into coaching. I actually hired a coach myself, and then ended up helping other people as a result of me kind of doing my own internal work, I suppose, personal development, as I was doing back then. And then that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And I fell into coaching, ended up training as a coach myself, and went on a real transformational journey from that point. And also I found mindfulness actually probably about 10 years before. So I had come into contact with mindfulness through just trying to get away from work and trying to get away from the stress. And then when everything happened to me, when I had my sort of transformational journey, mindfulness found me again. And I ended up then not only training as a coach, but actually putting my interest in mindfulness into a professional capacity and bringing the mindfulness and coaching together, because I had started living a more mindful life, and for me those two kind of parts of me then just sort of came together, the way of being rather than doing, which just allows me to center my energy in a more grounded way, so that I can do what I need to do in my life. I can be there for myself, but then I'm also able to be there for other people.
I love that, being rather than doing. I think that's fantastic. So how can you specifically support women with your practice and what you're doing?
So the way that I work, and I think probably so over the past I've created coaching programs, and the way that I work is I help people with the mindfulness, I help people to come down off the crazy, to work more with their body as opposed to their mind. And when we work with our body, as you know, that helps us to become very naturally in a grounded place. to understand the mind a little bit. With my coaching training, I've done some neuroscience as well. So I understand how the brain works. I understand why it's so important to ground yourself in your body using mindfulness techniques. So that's kind of the first process that's one of the processes we go through. And I do that by helping them to ground, by guiding them in meditation, first of all, and then I teach them how to have their own practice. And it's very much a bespoke thing. There's no set ways to do these things. I just work with the person on a one-to-one basis. So that's my kind of one-to-one work. And then I bring the coaching in to that one-to-one space to help people to evolve through change, to understand why we have change, to work with the present moment. So that takes us away from worrying about the past and worrying about the future, being in our future state. And then from once we're in a more present state, the coaching is so much more powerful. And so it's kind of this balance of doing that through a coaching relationship. And it creates a very powerful space, because once people understand how to be more, they are tuning into the part of themselves that is an incredibly powerful inner navigation system. And that's particularly pertinent at the moment, that we come back to a place of being and not doing, grounding in our bodies and listening much more to our inner voice, our intuition. That's going to help guide us through this particularly challenging time that we're all facing in the world at the moment. So one-to-one coaching, and then I bring that into group settings as well. I'm also a mentor as well, so I do coaching and mentoring, so I can mentor people in their business as well from my own experience in marketing and comms, and doing that in a mindful way. So just bringing people's awareness. For me, everything is about self-awareness. So, when you're working with your own awareness, you're working with grounding yourself and actually being able to get the clarity that you need when you're more centered and grounded. You can see a lot more. You come back to the bigger picture, which is what my coaching business is called, bigger picture coaching. You can see the bigger picture once you've got that clarity. And I think particularly that's really helpful in business, to be able to get above the situation and be able to look down and actually see all the bits of the jigsaw, and calmly be able to then perhaps reorganize those into a better place, so that you can, particularly for sole business owners, be able to focus your energy on what's going to be the most helpful, centered and productive, especially at the moment.
Awesome. I also know you're quite active on Facebook, and you have some stuff going on there. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well, please?
Yes. So I actually run two groups. So people who follow me may already know I run a group called Radiant Leaders, and that started for me way before I had my coaching business. I started that off from a place of my own personal growth and experience of going through a transformation, going through big periods of change in my own life. And I kind of shared my journey in there. And that group has grown from that place. So I have a lot of very good, lovely ladies in there, lovely connections in there, who are very, very supportive. And they're always very supportive of new ladies that come in, because we've all kind of been through our own journey in that group. And we're always, looking for more ladies to come in and kind of go through that process, and people who know what it's like to go through big change, and are looking for support with like minds, perhaps ladies that are leading a business and they want to be grounded in their business. They want to use their intuition more. And they want to be around people that are doing that, and are kind of leading from the inside, leading from our hearts, instead of leading from our heads. So that's what Radiant Leaders is all about. I also do mental health work as well, because I sadly lost my partner last year to suicide, And so I've started a group called Love You, have a movement really called Love You More, which is on Facebook as well. And that is a mental health awareness group. So for anybody who is struggling with mental health challenges at the moment, who want to kind of support that suicide awareness, want to support, want to be around like minds who are, finding the world challenging. And that's very much a group that I go in and share and sort of help people to come together through Love You More. So it has quite a charity focus. We have a charity focus to raise money particularly for men's mental health awareness as well.
So if we see the hashtag Love You More, this is you.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, Love You More. So it's hashtag love in lowercase and then capital YOU and then more in lowercase. So Love You More is all about loving yourself more. That's really the message in it. And the message came from my partner. Always used to say to me, I love you more. Every time I said I loved him, he said, I love you more. And that was something that came through me really, really strongly after he passed away, that I was to help people to love themselves more. And so that group, that focus is very much about self-care and helping people to come to that state of awareness that they need to look after themselves. And we have to put ourselves first in order for our mental health to stay balanced and grounded and look after ourselves.
That's fantastic. So do you have any top tips that you could give right now for women that wanted to feel a little bit more mindful, balanced, grounded?
Yeah, and I think so. I'm going to go back to self-awareness because for me, the main reason why I work with people is to help people improve their self-awareness. And I would say tips to get you in the right place, to be more grounded and to become in that place of being and not doing is definitely for me is walking outside in nature. So we all might be on lockdown at the moment, if you're watching this and we're still in that place, then if you've got a garden or you've got a green space nearby, it doesn't have to be a massive park, but even if there's a small green local space that you can go to or in your garden, is to actually take your shoes and if it's warmer weather, take your shoes and socks off and get outside in the garden and feel your feet on the ground. I have a mindful walking exercise that I'm more than happy to share with anyone if they message me, to help you get into that space and to help you come out of your mind, which is what really overpowers us and stops us from being really self-aware, and back into your body through grounding and connecting with nature. So that's one of the ways that I've learned how to do it myself, and hence me always passing that on to people, because it's the way that I got myself out of the crazy when I was really overwhelmed and stressed. Nature was the way that got me back there. And then I would say, if you're feeling overwhelmed as well, meditation is a really, really great way to get yourself grounded again. Even if that's a few conscious breaths. And what I mean by a conscious breath is to actually take a little bit of time to sit in your body and be in your body and take a deep conscious breath in through your nose and push it down into your tummy as much as you can. Hold it in your tummy and then let it go. So one of the tools that I use frequently is box breath, which is just basically breathing in for 4, count of 4, holding for 4, and then breathing out for the count of 4. And that's just going to, if you continue to do that 5 or 6 times, that's just going to take you out of that crazy mind space and back into your body. So breathing and being in a meditative state is really one of the best ways that you can help yourself to be grounded, excuse me, and to be more self-aware. And then the third thing, sorry.
I was just going to say awesome tips, but there's more.
There's more. So the third thing I would say is, and this is what I tend to work with people one-to-one, is to create your own habits of success, your own habits of grounding. And that again is really about bringing your self-awareness to what you're actually doing on a daily basis, because these things are not about having big plans. They're not about having, these big massive plans for your business, because now more than ever we can't plan ahead. We have to be responding, and I say the word respond because we don't want to be reacting. When we're reacting, we're always coming from here. When we learn how to respond, we're always coming from this place. This is something that I really work with people, and I really can help people with. And when if you can ground yourself, work with grounding, and then actually bring your focus to what are those things that you're doing on a daily basis that are not serving you, that are taking you into this space as opposed to this space. So it might be things like picking up your phone first thing in the morning. It might be something, so we're creating a list here of what serves me and what doesn't serve me. Bring your real focus and awareness to this. It might be that you're spending time on Messenger way too much, maybe into the night or something like that. It might be that you're sitting down for long periods of time at your desk or at your computer, which is going to be more and more prominent for businesses as we move into this period. So bringing your awareness to how much time you're spending on these things, and actually writing the things down that you start to get that feeling of overwhelm. And then on the opposite side, create another list, and then write down the things that help you to feel calmer and more focused. So for myself, the greatest thing that I can guide you with, we all have a choice whether to do these things, right? But the greatest thing I can guide you with is to start your day with some conscious breaths. Start your day in your body. Don't just jump out of bed and go straight into doing, because your brain will tell you to do that, because if you're busy and you're stressed, your brain will tell you to do that. But if you take a few conscious breaths, it just allows you to ground yourself so that you can make a choice of what to do next from that place, as opposed to, as soon as I wake up, my brain's on, right? It's really hard to get ourselves out of that. But if you have a conscious breath practice first thing in the morning, you can maybe start saying to yourself, what am I feeling? What am I grateful for? As soon as my eyes open, and it just creates that trigger in your brain to go away from the doing, to come back to what's going on in here. So saying, however it works for you, meditation, conscious breathing, and maybe just sort of, looking at those habits, the first thing in the morning habits. So write down things like that, what are the things that work and what are the things that don't work. And perhaps there's things that already work for you, such as exercise. Maybe you practice yoga, or maybe you're thinking of now having a practice like this. Write down the things that intuitively feel as if they're going to be positive for you. And then, your energy, think about your energy. Where is your energy when you're in those different states? What's your energy like when you're using your phone first thing in the morning? What's your energy like when you go straight onto your laptop without actually having any breakfast because you're so worried about everything? So it's just really bringing your awareness to these things. And, that's going to help you to create then from that place some habits that are going to be successful for you, that are going to concentrate your energy and help you to bring your energy into the being state as opposed to the doing state.
Excellent advice, excellent tips there. Thank you. So if people want to find you, how can they get in touch with you, Karen?
So the best way to get in touch with me is probably on Facebook. I spend most of my time on Facebook, so you can send me, if you just Karen Ramsay Smith, there aren't many of us around. If you type my name in, you'll find me. I'm more than happy. I use my personal profile all the time. More than happy to take messages on PM me that way. My website is biggerpicturecoaching.com. And you can also contact me through there as well. Gives you a little bit more information about my coaching and what I do. And then if you'd like to, if you're a lady that feels as drawn to sort of working more with your intuition, then please do come and join us in my Radiant Leaders group. I'd love to see you there. I do at the moment I'm doing card readings, and I'm doing meditation and grounding and things like that, and there's lots of support in there anyway, so I spend quite a lot of time in there. So yeah, I'd love to see you in there if that helps.
That's awesome. Thanks very much for your time today.
You're welcome.